Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's Fatmata here from Traditionally Inspired Meaningful Art. We are 2 for 2 with Friday sews, and I'm really excited about that. Really because I get to catch you up on the things that I've been doing since we last spoke last week about things happening in the sewing room. I have some makes to share with you, additional plans of what I am hoping to get done coming into this weekend. No recent acquisitions, thankfully. That's actually a good thing, but something that I did rummage through and have been toying with working with for Thrifty Thursday. And I want to show you some things that I'm struggling with or just would love some advice on. So let's get into it. I wanted to hop on quickly and tell you what I'm wearing. So this is a dress that I also made in December. So it'll be in my December makes. I don't think I've shared it here on the channel just yet, like the details, but it is using the pattern S8539. That is what the bodice is made out of. I smushed some other sleeves on here and added a cuff to it. So that sort of self-drafted this cuff area. And no, I think I used the sleeves from this, but had to slash and spread it. I will let you know in the December makes. There's a lot happening here. So this was my attempt to find a really great bodice or top piece that I can use for the perfect top or just to make bodices of dresses that I can make over and over again and switch it up. I just added a gathered skirt, French seamed everything on the inside, added some inseam pockets here, really deep, nice pockets. And then I went with this ruffled collar detail because I'm testing out ruffled collars at the moment. All right, so I am actually going to start with makes because I have some makes for you guys. And I had talked about making some warm, cozy things for my daughters because it's beginning to get extremely cold here in Maryland. And I have some like completed makes. I love that I have a 2-year-old that I can dress up and use a lot of my like shorter yardages, but also I had been buying quite a bit of things that I wanted to use to make her some cold weather items. So one of the patterns that I used was S8998, which I told you all about. I picked up in their recent release and I love it. It's just a darling dress. This is from ages 3 to 8. My daughter is 2.5, so I wanted this sizing just so I can have it from now until she's much older, hopefully. And I love it. It's a simple raglan sleeve dress. And I believe it's meant for wovens for sure. I still like it as a base. And of course, I could just extend that top bodice piece and make tops for her out of this, as well as making it into a dress. And they have a little pant that you can also make there. So I thought this was perfect. I had also thrifted Simplicity 4924. And this is awesome. This is like a full toddler set. So I can use this for my daughter, for my son, and it's awesome. And what I love most about this is that the pant leg is one piece, which I absolutely love for a quick win. So this is, I traced off these patterns. Again, I want to use them forever. And this size range is actually from 6 months to 4 years old. So she definitely still fits in this. And how large they make the piece, like this is the pattern piece. My kiddos are quite slender, so I didn't need all of that width. So I actually folded it when I made hers because I want them to be a bit more close fitting because I'm using stretch and jersey materials. So I went ahead and folded that for her, and that's how I've been cutting out her pattern piece. But again, I love that it's just one piece. It's amazing. So I was like whipping up these and can see myself making many more. So here's the pattern piece, and this is it with the fold in it. And one of the things that I want to show you, look at how cute these are. This is a cotton from the Doodle collection at Joann's, which is so soft and like spongy. It was so beautiful running this through the serger because all the stitches sink into the fabric. It's super stretchy, and I love that. For where they have the waistline on this pattern, I was actually able to fold over her waistband twice and then threaded my elastic through there, closed it off, and then closed off the little hole that I had left in the waistband to feed the elastic through. Now what that would allow me to do if I were to cut out this pant leg a bit wider in the future, not only would I be able to kind of seam rip my zigzag stitches and sort of unfold it and still have some space up at the top, but the way that I did the bottom as well, I just folded it under and did a nice zigzag stitch, and it looks really neat actually. And if she were to grow taller, I could just take off that zigzag stitch and then add a cuff, and she can have these pants forever. Now, if you've ever been with a 2-year-old or 3-year-old, they're not the cleanest little humans. So I actually love using darker fabrics for her things, just because I think they will last a little bit longer. So I loved this fabric because it had the dark background with these bright pops of color. So it's perfect for being cozy in the autumn and in the fall and winter. So I love these. And these were such quick makes. So I'm very happy that I finally took the time, traced out the patterns, cut them. And now as I have offcuts of my own fabrics that I plan to use, I can just use the remnants and immediately make her something instead of stashing them like I've been doing for ages and not using them. So to go with this, I made the S8998. Is that what it is? Yes, 8998. So I used this, and again, this is a stretch material. So that was strike number 1. It came up really large. She could probably wear this when she's 4. It's so big. The raglan sleeve is a 2-part raglan sleeve, and a lot of this just came up really big on her. So I'm contemplating right now, I can either just add an elastic in the waistband so that it just fits a bit nicer around the waist, and cut off the extra cuff that I added because she does not need that length at this time, and fold it under so that it's a better fit. It would be baggy, sort of oversized, but still look nice maybe if the waist was fitting a little bit better, just so she won't get a ton of draft coming up the bottom since it's a gathered skirt at the bottom. I have some work to do with this, but it looks super cute on her as a set, and I'm just very excited that I made that. So I used the same S4924 pattern out of this faux cashmere that I picked up in the remnant section at Joann's, and it's the softest feeling thing that I've ever felt. I got it when I was like, oh, faux cashmere, you guys succeeded in that. So it is the same adapted pattern out of this, with it sort of thinned out a little bit, so it looks more like leggings to a jogger versus like these really baggy sweatpants, and I absolutely love it. I think this charcoal color is so sophisticated for a 2.5-year-old, but it's super cute. And with that, mommy made her this cute, adorable, like mock neck. Oh, it's so nice. So I used the top pattern from the 4924, and I just flared it out on the ends, and based on the remnant that I had left, the top piece just happened to be shorter than the bottom, so it gives this really cute high-low effect. And then I added a self-drafted mock neck as well, and she looks so Parisian and so cute and adorable in this, and did not want to take photos for you all just yet. So maybe in my January makes you guys will see a picture of her in this, but she was not interested in doing that currently. But they're so cute. All right, the last thing, oh well, I made something else. I made her a pair of pants out of this fleece as well, but she's wearing it today. And I made the cuffs out of the faux cashmere. It's like the most cozy thing ever, but she's wearing it today. What I have left is this cute little, I guess like dress or topper. Like she would wear this with a long sleeve shirt underneath it, and it's made out of blizzard fleece from Joann's that I picked up in their remnant section, and it is the little vest from the 4924 pattern. And I went ahead and cut that out because I have a lot of fabrics that I think I'm going to have enough left over to make her these little things to toss over a pair of like warm and cozy leggings with a long sleeve shirt. I gathered a lot of all the cozy things that I've been collecting for her over the past couple of months, and there's this awesome tie-dye that I picked up in the $2.97 section at G Street Fabric, some more of that amazing like doodle thick cotton fabric from Joann's that I picked up last year, and some remnants from past makes, from like 2020 makes actually in here, and just some other things that I've picked up over the course of time that are intended to make my daughter some cold wear clothing. Okay, so those are the makes. Everything that I actually made that was completed was for my daughter because I really needed some quick wins this week. The reason why I needed some quick wins last week was because I have been working really adamantly on getting to items within my fall winter collection. Namely, last weekend I was working really hard on getting the trousers, and I've been going back and forth about what pattern I'm going to use and how I want to make it up. And I think I am committing to utilizing S9114. It is the trouser that I toiled in like this gorgeous caramel double crepe fabric that I had. Wool crepe fabric that I had. But I knew that I wanted to make some adjustments. I really want my pants to be straight legged, and I want the pleat front to be a bit more streamlined than this pattern is. And I don't think inseam pant pockets are for me. They just never have been. And even if I self-drafted or sew the pattern myself, I just don't think it's a design that suits my body. But I do like slant pockets a lot better. So I traced out the pattern and have been doing a lot of edits to it. And this is the wearable toile that I'm working on for it. I'm using this navy blue cotton sateen fabric that I picked up at G Street Fabrics in the $2.97 section. It's like the only place that I shop, obviously. But I think I'm getting closer to a fit that I like. I really am. Doing the fly front zipper is not as daunting to me anymore. This is the second pair of trousers that I've made with them, and I like that it's earlier in the steps when you're actually following along in Mimi G's like tutorial for the S9114, because unlike putting buttonholes in a garment that you've already finished making and then you're like, your heart is racing because you don't want to screw it up when you've already made the whole thing. I love that you do the zipper, which for me is the part that's making my heart go boom, boom, boom. I love that you do it so early. So you figure out, did I do that right? And then you sew up the rest of the garment. So that makes me really happy. So this is the state that it's in. I've been working on getting the leg to fit the way that I want, with the fullness that I want without being too flared. I've been working on different types of pleats in the front. I think I've changed both of them. I saw a video online for making wide leg trousers, and I liked the pleat front of that pant, and I'll link that video down below so you can see what it looks like. But it's a single pleat and it's a deeper pleat. So basically what I did in this pattern is I took the two pleats that it comes with and I like folded it so that it has the same width of overlap, but I absorbed that into one pleat, which for me looks so much sleeker for this style of pant. And I really have been enjoying that. So that's sort of what it looks like here. And of course I'll press this and have it really beautiful. And on this side, you can see I'm playing around with the slant pocket. So I haven't cut the pieces and adapted them fully yet. So there's a lot of overlap that's creating some bulk in this pocket. I just wanted to test it out. And once I have a fit that I really like, I'm gonna go back to my traced out pattern pieces and adapt the pattern so that I have that moving forward. So as you can see, lots of scribbles, lots of, edits. And while it sort of annoyed me at first, the fact that I still don't have a pair of trousers, I am steadily reminding myself that this year it's all about that intentionality. Making wearable toiles versus things made out of muslin kind of help me stick to that so that I don't feel like I'm wasting a ton of time on like this garment that I won't even wear. Whereas this, while it is taking a lot of time and can sometimes be frustrating, like I am going to wear these navy trousers once they're done up. So taking the time, there have been a lot of unpicking happening in this, which me and my seam ripper have been friends, but I know it's going to be worth it. And if I make sure that I'm transferring a lot of those edits to my pattern here, then I will be able to make a pair of trousers sort of in one go without fitting and does it work and seam ripping in the long run, which makes it worth it. Still a process, but we're getting there slowly, and hopefully you guys will be able to see this done up maybe by next Friday sews, who knows. In addition, another level of progress that I've reached with the trousers, you guys, you remember the fabric, right? I'm using this amazing cotton sateen, stretch cotton sateen from Mood Fabrics, which, I mean, I'm still in awe of. I love this pattern and this print so much. You can see it's a lot thinner. That's because I was busy last weekend. So what I went ahead and did was cut out all of the pieces. And my quilting skills from December have really come in handy, but I went ahead and cut out the pieces. If you aren't familiar, the trousers that I want to make have a distinct design in my mind, and I wanted to use up the pattern in a very specific way. I want the floral print to be the main intersection of the pant leg. I want this amazing sort of diamond teal and caramel stripe to be along the side panel of the pant leg. And I want this section right here, this like mainly brown section, to be the waistband and have a stripe of that at the very bottom of the pant leg. The vision is strong up here, and hopefully that little description works and you get what I mean. But I spent all of last weekend cutting out all of those pieces from the fabric. And now my next step is going to be to actually start putting those individual pieces together so that I have a fabric that once my pattern is the way that I want it, I can actually cut out of this fabric. Now, what stopped me from attaching them, as you can see, I started doing so, is that I think I need to change the needles in my serger. So I was using the serger to do this, and you can start seeing that I was getting some runs in the fabric. And because the colors are so saturated here and sort of printed on top, when those threads are pulled, you get these sort of stripping of the fabric color or the movement in them. And I tested it out again, and when I saw it happening again, I realized I need to stop before I mess up the fabric and make it very obvious, and change my needles. I do think it's the needles that are doing this. I'll be honest with you, I'm someone who will make 10 different projects and never change the needles of my serger until things like this happen, and I'm like, oh yeah, I should change that. So I will be changing it soon. And yeah, but this was a good sort of trial run just to show me how things were going. In my sewing journal, I have detailed notes about like how many of each of the pieces I needed so that it would help me in the cutting process. I also have all my notes about how many need to be pieced together for each pant leg, etc. So for this particular project, I have an entire sort of page just dedicated to that, which I'll continue to fill out with notes as I move along. But for me, that's actually really great progress. I'm working on the toile to get the fit of the actual pant right, and I've already done quite a bit of work in actually preparing the fabric. So once I'm done with some of these cozy items for my daughter, I'll go ahead and change the needles on my serger so that I can test it out again to make sure I'm not getting any runs in the print, and go ahead and start piecing together the fabric so I can move forward with this project. So in December or earlier this month, I think, I was working on Simplicity 8736, and this is a vintage remake of a 1940s blouse. And I looked at this and thought I could really get into the design lines here. And I decided to use this really lightweight, I think it's a quilting cotton. I thrifted this fabric. I love the really ditzy floral print in this on the olive green background. So I've gotten quite a ways, you know, through this project, and it was giving me quite a hard time at the neckline. And I finally decided to add some sort of trim on the neckline. And now I'm at the stage where I add the button so I can actually just see it on. I think what I might choose to do here is add poppers or snaps to the back and just sew the button on top of that. Or I'm gonna go ahead and make actual buttonholes. I'm just trying to think how realistic it would be that I would button myself up from the back. So Estelle, I know you've made this top before. Like, did you put buttonholes in the back? And if you did, how hard is it to get in and out of this? because you have these awesome darts at the bottom of this top, which make it perfect, I think, for tucking in. I can't imagine sort of pulling this over my head. So how easy or challenging was it to do that? That's why I was thinking about adding snaps and just doing like a faux button on top of it, so it gives the illusion that it's buttoned up, but I'm really snapping it in place. Let me know. I don't know. I think I want to love this blouse. I think there's a lot of extra space in it at the top for me, which you'll see hopefully in the January makes video. So I wanted to toile it so that I know any edits I would make for a future garment. But I'm also torn between whether or not that's happening because it's a quilting cotton. It is very soft, I can tell you that. Like, I wanted to make sure it was drapey enough, but it is still a cotton. So maybe that's why it feels the way that it does. And if I would have made this out of some sort of like crepe or polyester fabric, something that has a lot more drape to it, or viscose, for example, maybe I wouldn't have had as much structure in it, and I might not need as many, you know, adaptations to this or tweaks to the patterns as right now it seems like I might need. I don't have a large bust at all, so I don't know if it's just that there's too much fullness in this section, and maybe if I removed a bit of that by like shortening the torso of this, it might work a lot better for me. But I'm really excited. I'm hoping to just get this made up. It doesn't make sense for it to be this far into the making and not complete. So I'm going to work on this. I think the pairing of this blouse with the wool crepe pants that I toiled from the 9114 will look really good together. So I would like to try that on soon. As I mentioned, I didn't get to go to the thrift store yesterday for my Thrifty Thursday run, but I did want to show you an item that I thrifted like last year or years ago, maybe in 2020 even. It's this amazing yellow sort of marigold yarn, and I thrifted this because I fell in love with the color of it. I have a lot of things in my stash that have pops and hints of this color, this dress included, and I finally signed up for a free subscription to Ravelry. So I'm one of you now, for any of you who knit out there and crochet, and I want to make a vest out of this. I have 3 skeins of this, and it's super chunky, as you can see here, like it's super chunky, and I want to make a vest because I think that's what I could get out of 3 skeins of this. I don't know how much yarn projects take, but in my mind, maybe a vest could work. I know how to crochet. I've been crocheted for years, so I could probably easily crochet something that I just self-draft and kind of measure it on myself and make it up as I go along. But I am really interested in testing out knitting this year and having my new subscription to Ravelry. I know there are even some free patterns on there. So if you know of any good, like a cropped vest that's kind of simple for a beginner with knitting, that use like a thicker yarn, please leave it linked down below. I know some of you also knit, so if you have an idea or could more easily look into that than I probably could, please link it down below. I'd love to just be introduced to something that I can start working on. I think it'd be nice so I can like be around the kids and also keep my hands busy with something that I want to make for myself, because sewing does require a lot of time sort of away and in my own little bubble in the sewing room. So that would be nice for me to work on just throughout the next couple of months. It might be quicker than that, who knows, I don't know. So please recommend what you have down below. I hope you enjoyed the like week in my sewing life video that I put up. I think that was the most previous video, and that was from December. I've of course been documenting some of the things that I've been doing toward my fall and winter collection this month. So I hope to have a video like that, like a week in my sewing life sort of thing for January as well. I also owe you all my Make 9, which I've been really excited sort of narrowing down to the 9 projects that I want to work on this upcoming year, in addition to just my sewing resolutions and hopes for this channel this year. So I hope you're interested in looking out for that. So with that, I will leave you here. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and a long weekend if you're here in the States. Have a wonderful day. Stay creative. Bye.